After you have the proper size goggles, adjust the fit using the elastic strap to tighten or loosen them. The goggles should be fitting snugly without sliding on the face or cutting into it. If the goggles leave marks on your face after they are removed, they're too tight. If they move freely about your face, they are too loose. If you find the goggles make you too hot, some types of goggles allow you to adjust the vents to provide more airflow. Raising the cap of the venting plugs, as shown here, will, however, allow splashes to get behind the goggles and reduce the level of protection. This is not advisable. No adjustment is possible, of course, with unvented goggles or even with all types of vented goggles. As a consequence of the heat buildup possible behind the goggles, the lenses may fog up. Skiers have a trick they use on their goggles which can be of value here. Rub a little soap solution on the inside of the goggles and wipe them dry. A small amount of residual soap will prevent fogging without leaving a visible residue on the lenses, which would then distort your vision. Sometimes protecting your eyes isn't enough, because your face and body may also be exposed to hazardous materials. This could happen when work is done at reduced pressure, or when there is a potential for dynamic reactions, implosions, explosions, vigorous splashing in the reaction vessel, or severe chemical burns, for example, from contact with strong acids and bases. Your lab directions and instructor should warn you of these possibilities, but you should also take responsibility for determining if any of these situations might arise. Laboratory hoods have a sash that may be vertically lowered or horizontally closed. Putting apparatus in the laboratory hood and lowering or closing the sash on the hood will give additional protection to your face and body, as well as protection against potentially hazardous fumes. You still have to wear your goggles. If for some reason potentially hazardous work is not done in a laboratory hood, you should use a bench shield that is wide enough and long enough to protect your neck and ears. Make sure that the bench shield is properly placed and sturdy so it will not easily be tipped over. It does not, of course, provide any protection against fumes and only protects the person working in front of the shield, who must be wearing goggles. Face shields, if available, will protect your face and neck and allow you to move freely around the apparatus. However, a face shield will not protect your upper body as well as a hood, sash, or a bench shield. You still need the eye protection of splash goggles. Let's summarize the points made in this presentation about eye protection. Only chemical splash goggles provide adequate eye protection. Prescription glasses and visitor's glasses are not acceptable. Everyone in the lab, students, instructors, visitors, should wear safety goggles at all times that chemical operations are being conducted. This is true even if the individual is not carrying out an operation. If you are doing paperwork and don't want to wear your goggles, ask your instructor if you can work outside the lab or in an isolated section of the lab. If you're wearing prescription glasses or contact lenses, wear goggles over them. This is particularly important in the case of contact lenses, which can trap chemicals and keep them in intimate contact with the eyes. Use bench or face shields when needed to protect the neck and ears. Close the sash of the laboratory hood for additional protection. Although proper eye protection should prevent the possibility of liquids or solids getting in your eyes, you should be aware of what to do in case of an unforeseen accident. The first step is to familiarize yourself with the location and type of eye wash units in your laboratory. Eye wash units may be found on a sink in either a stationary or handheld arrangement. They may also be combined with safety showers in a corner of a laboratory or near a doorway. If you do get chemical splash on your face, quickly and thoroughly wash your face to remove any splash chemicals and avoid further damage. Then immediately remove your goggles and use the eye wash unit. The eye wash unit should be used at the very beginning, of course. Don't waste time calling for help. Let someone else get the instructor while you start flushing your eyes. Correct treatment of the eyes requires that the eyes be flushed for at least 15 minutes with tepid water. Very cold water will numb the eyes quickly, and you may be tempted to stop the flushing too early. Don't. Hold your eyelids open and flush the eyes for a full 15 minutes while someone else seeks medical help. Emergency eye wash bottles typically have small volumes of water and a very low flow rate. They are not sufficient for flushing the eyes. And in addition, they may damage the eyes further because of bacterial buildup in the solution in the bottle. Contact lenses are often worn as an alternative to prescription glasses. Although they were at one time forbidden in the laboratory, they are now allowed, as long as chemical splash goggles are also worn. In case of an accident, however, they may adhere more tightly to the eyeballs, as tears, a typical natural lubricant, form, and the lenses must be removed for proper flushing. They could also trap particles or liquids and keep them in contact with the eyes. Make sure you tell the instructor that you're wearing lenses and remove them before flushing. A last warning about eye and face protection is that no one should ever attempt to neutralize chemicals splashed in the eyes. Only water should be used, followed by medical attention. Make sure the examining doctor is aware of what chemicals were involved.